Hello. I'm hoping this comes out okay. So I'm going to be doing a live beer tasting of all my bottled beers. So that's right, it's live. I've just decided to do this because it's easier, early doors, just get this out of the way. And it's a bit long, so probably too long for me to be bothering about with editing or anything like that. So rather than do that, I'm just going to test it here and get into that. So just give me one moment while I get everything ready. I've got my bottles and everything lined up, and I'm just going to go through. And the idea is to explain what beer I've done and what I've tasted and tested. So just give me a few moments while I just get the last bit set up on this. All right, sorry, just double checking that the sound, everything was working correctly there. So I am going to open up my first beer, which I'm hoping I can get this to focus. Oh, nope, that didn't focus at all. Took a shot instead. That's great. So my first one was Uncle Teddy's. And this was actually from Love Brewing. That's where I got my batch from. So I bought from Love Brewing a bitter kit called Uncle Teddy's, which is supposed to be a similar taste or variety to Timothy Taylor's Landlord. Actually, this is batch 1A, I should say, and I'll explain that in a moment. I'm just going to crack this open. Lots of smoke coming off there, the bottle. And let's pour this into my glass that my lovely missus got me. And I know I get lots of flack for my pouring, and these bottles are going to be no different for the pouring. They're very carbonated. That was my first time bottling, of course, as well. All right, this is going to have a huge head. And the idea is don't really want to stop this because it's going to have the yeast and everything kick up at the bottom. But then this isn't an amazing brew. So let me just sort of explain, apart from the huge stupid head that I got on this, is this also a... No, it's not. I thought it may be nucleated. So that's probably the worst pour I've ever done. There you go. That's great. So looking at this brew, I've got details of all my brews written here, so I'm just looking at it. So this was a Beerworks, which is a brand that Love Brewing own and do. So it's a Beerworks 3 kilo malt extract kit, and they gave 50 grams of Fuggles hob pellets to put in as well, and I just used tap water for that. Now, I had a plan, and the plan was that I done like a people short brew where you normally do 23 litres and they short brew to say 20 litres to increase the ABV. I long brewed mainly because there was the shortage of products at that stage due to lockdown. So this was in May 2020, and I long brewed it for two reasons. I was aiming to get a lower session ABV, and I was already fiddling with it. My first home brew and already messing about. The idea that I was thinking was, I'm going to bottle half of this at the lower ABV, and then I'm going to kickstart that yeast again and do a higher ABV one. So this is, as I said, 1A. So 1A is the low ABV. And it didn't go to plan, of course not. Of course not. These things never do. What actually happened for me was that the ABV, it didn't get the yeast didn't get to the level that I expected, and the final ABV for this is about 3%, a 3% bitter. Oh, this is sort of the stuff that Tesco's and the like put in cans and sell for a quid. Um, yeah, I've got quite a bit of this still left. I need to chuck it probably. Right, that is a massive head on it. Still massive carbonations, and this is not a nucleated glass at all. So much carbonation. I'm going to have to just burst through the froth and get to this. It smells like homebrew. Oh, but bitter still. There's a bitter taste to it. Ah, clean my mouth there. Oh, bizarrely, that seems to have got better with age. Not bizarrely, it's just got better. It's still got a homebrew twang. Oh, massive amount of froth and everything on me there. I'm just checking if the lens has gone out of focus. Sorry, being a bit of a pain. Just checking this. Yeah, for me. Okay, maybe just a bit closer. It's got better, but it's so low in ABV. It's not that great. My aim was to get this down to just below. I think it was supposed to be a 4.5% product, and my aim was to try and get it to just below 4%, so 3.9. I failed. It went to 3%, which isn't that great. It was a 10.1035 starting ABV, and then it ended at about a 10.15 or 10.17 at that stage. Again, messages popping up my phone there, just double checking it's not YouTube saying something. Yeah, it's. Do you know what? Age has done it much better. It's nearly 10 months since it was bottled. Yeah, nearly 10 months it's been in the bottle, and it's done it a world of good. And that's the thing with bottling beers, you do need to keep them longer. Like after, you could open one after 2 weeks, but it won't taste as good as something after 4 weeks. But some of them, 6 months, and they taste brilliant after that as well. I'm strangely enjoying this, but it's the first beer of the day, and it is early doors as well. So this brewed, and this is my concern. I brewed this for 11 days, and I took measurements on day 11. It was at 10.18. So it really just hadn't managed to ferment because I think I put too much water in, maybe at that stage, because I'd long brewed it. But looking at this, I dry hopped it with the 50 grams of Fuggles, and it did then drop a bit with the dry hopping. I poured half of this out to make my 1A brew, and what I have up next is my number two, Uncle Teddy's. So you can see this was bottled on the 14th of June, and this one was bottled on the 6th of June. So it started in May, bottle date was June, and the difference with this one was that I pitched a load of sugar and tried to get the yeast working again. I'm just getting this out of the way. I don't think I'm going to pour the rest of this right now. I might have kicked up the yeast, and I need to chuck all that froth. All right, let's get on to number two. And from my memory, number two wasn't any better either. Oh, I'm opening these very slowly because I do think I put a bit too much sugar, priming sugar at the end. And I made a mistake here. Got etched glasses, so it's going to be a very, very slow pour, because this is going to kick up just as much. I want to make sure that I do get a nice head that retains, but I just don't want to end up with something that is like that one entirely head. Ooh, just got to be careful with the last bit here. The fun of watching someone pour a overcarbonated beer really quickly into a carbonated glass, and that is just going to pour over the top now. So I'm just going to go. Right, what you're looking at, or what I want you to really look at, is the amount on there. Just looking to see, I've got some comments there, and I was supposed to get them coming through, but for some reason it's not. So the Wilco brew I'm being asked on, I actually have that lined up to taste. That's the last one I've got tasting on. The Wilco homebrew, I've got an honest answer to give as well. I made a mistake. When I put it in the Pinter, I used the newer spreadsheets that someone had put out that I was using originally the older spreadsheets back in original lockdown time when I was doing my bottling. And the spreadsheet previously had a element at the top where I could change what a spoonful of sugar was. So I would set a teaspoon to be a gram, and then it would say add like 10 teaspoons, i.e. 10 grams. The new one doesn't have that, and it had it separate, and it actually had teaspoons and actual sugar grams. And I put it said put 5 teaspoons in, and I put 6 grams of sugar when it really should have been 17 to 20 grams of sugar. So I totally messed up the carbonation on the Pinter. I realised this, and I opened up the Pinter, and I pitched a load more sugar a few days later, and I've shaken it all around. It is carbonated when I check the dial, and it's going to go in for conditioning now, but it's, yeah, I'm not expecting the Pinter one to come out very good because of that mistake. I have finished all of my dark matter. That went down really quick, but I do have something comparable that I bottled before. Right, so I don't know if you can see this very well. Let's hope you can. Not going to promise anything at this stage on the lighting and how it's all coming out. It's nicely cleared, which is good. Massive head. This is Brew 2, and the difference with Brew 2 was, I'm just trying to bring up my little record here. So Uncle Teddy's 1B, I put 500 grams of brewing sugars in, and then I chucked in some more Fuggles hop leaf for dry hopping, because the original hop that I added would have just turned into bitterness at this stage because the yeast were going through brewing again. Right, I'm holding off. I'm nervous. This came to the final ABV. I got, shockingly, 4.5% on this. I'm shocked. 4.5. All right, so I say 5%. That was the original amount I was aiming for. I've done the calculations. I think this is worse. Yeah, the bitterness from the original 50 grams of Fuggles hops have just, oh, that's not nice at all. That isn't nice. No. Yeah, I don't think that's come out well. Oh. It's very high in bitterness. Very high. I'd love to see what the IBUs are on that. I can't even say what hop flavour's in there. It's a very, very bitter beer. Old school. Oh, wow. Phew. Right, I'm just going to have a quick look because I was supposed to have like comments pop up and everything, but I haven't got StreamYard fully working, unfortunately, it seems. But that's fine. I can read the comments and see what's going on at that stage. Yeah, it's just not showing any comments. That's a shame. Oh well. Don't know why it's not connected. It's the stream was set up through StreamYard, so it should be pulling it through. But oh well, I can just go old school and look at anyone that comments. I wasn't really expecting anyone to even turn up. Yeah, this is not the best. Really not the best. I'm going to still finish it, of course I am. That's 2 already down. Oh, the worst ones. Again, I've got some left in the bottle. Oh, I might pour that if I get a bit pissed. But for the moment, that is staying where it is. So they were my first brews, which I'm counting as brews 1A, 1B, or maybe 2. What I've got next, and I'm wondering if I've left it downstairs, and I may have to quickly cut and run down and get it. I'm just checking. Yep. I've picked up the wrong one. I've just looked to see what I've got here. So I'm just going to quickly cut, and I should be back in a minute. Right, I use that as an opportunity to actually pick up, well, more than the one, nearly all the rest. So my second brew, which you can see here, bottled on the 27th of June, and it's called Let It Snow. And I've only got 1 more bottle of this left, 1 more bottle apart from this one, and it was brilliant, is all I can say. Oh, it was really good. So the Let It Snow was a winter ale from Brew Firm, and this is supposed to be, it was supposed to come out to maybe 6.7. When I done the final test, it came out at 6%, but in the bottle, the ABV should have gone up more. So I'm going to get this one out. Whoa. Don't know if you caught that at all. That just splurted everywhere. Big pressure on it. A lot of pressure. Again, I've got another etched glass. This may be a terrible decision. Oh, this is going to foam up in this glass quite a bit. I am going to quickly chuck this. That is a very rudimentary clean. I'm going to pour this in here because it's not etched, and I can hopefully get it out without too much head developing. This may be one of my better pours in the end. Oh, and I ruined it right at the end when I said that. Look at that. That is a nice dark winter beer. Oh, it's beautiful. And it is beautiful. It looks and it is. Oh, that is nice. Obviously high on the ABV as well. You can see, look, I only poured that much on the other glass and it's already kicked up that much foam because they're obviously got etchings. Now, I don't mind putting any yeast in this one. It's a winter beer. It's dark. It doesn't matter. It's supposed to be off a Belgium style, I think, anyways. This is beautiful dark colour. So I'm just going to pull up to confirm exactly everything that went into it, what the brewing schedule was, and let's see how it all came out. And yes, very dramatic music. Thank you. I love that music. It's actually called dramatic music. I think it's called that. Yeah, it's very dark. It smells lovely. This smells beautiful. This is a winter beer. It's perfect. It's what you want for winter at this stage. I'm surprised I managed to hold off until November before I cracked. Well, actually, I lie. I cracked open a bottle after a month, but I held all of them till November. I had my last one of these between Christmas and New Year's, and I knew I needed a few bottles, and I was thinking, what do I do with them? I thought I'll keep them for a bit, so I've got one more bottle left. Let's go and taste it now. That is strongish, which is good, but lovely malt flavour there. The malt is so good in that, and there's not like this residual sweetness or anything in there. It's a lovely maltiness. That is really good. I'm thinking I have to do some home brews again for the Christmas period to make sure that I'm ready for next Christmas with all the beers that I would need at that stage. Because pinters, I may bottle some of the stuff, but I don't know if it will be something that I keep to that Christmas period. Right, let's bring up the winter ale and just look to see what it was. So it was a Brew Firm 1.5 kilogram kit, and it only made 8 litres. That's why there's not much of it. It was only 8 litres because their Brew Firm do small kits, but they produce higher ABV. And it's only a 1 can kit. You don't have to add anything else to it. So it was just that, tap water, yeast, bam, done. And this was brewing for 9 days when its final gravity hit the amount that they recommend, which is the 1020. And then you bottle and let it come down for the rest of it. You wouldn't normally bottle at 1020 at all. You wouldn't do that. But bottling at 1020 for something that you're going to age is good because it means that the sugars will be in there and eat up slowly the rest of the sugars in there and keep it carbonated for a long time. Bottle conditioned aging the beer is perfect for it. Now, unlike the other two, this is definitely more a sipper. I necked the first one. As I said, still got a bit of it, well, over half of it left. The second one, I drank over half of it. This one, only a little bit of yeast at the bottom left in there. This is a good beer though. I do recommend the Brew Firm kits though. If you are looking to produce the higher ABV stuff, they are really, really good for that. I mean, you don't have to add sugars or anything like that. You can just go with the 1 kit and brew something that's smaller batch on the lines of, I say, when you brew with a pinter, you'll brew in 5 litres. This is 8 litres, but you will need something to brew it in. You could you could try putting this in the pinter and seeing if it worked. My concern would be if you put this 8 litres into a 5 litre pinter, you're going to end up with a 9% beer, which is interesting actually, now I think of it. That's very interesting. I don't have a Grainfather or Brewzilla at all. I have actually brewed on a Grainfather, so I've done the all malt extract process with a Grainfather. I'm looking to, and it all comes down to when the Pinter deliver the next set of products, because I'm actually looking to do some all grain brew in a bag. So get your pan, do the grains in the bag, and then get the malts and everything. And I'm losing my words at this stage, and hoping to put that in the pinter to condition. But the reason why I'm not is because I've got two items from the pinter that I've ordered. I've obviously got the new one order, which is supposed to be like is it a Sierra Nevada or a Boston, more Boston lager, isn't it? It's supposed to be like. So I'm hoping for that to come soon. Although they did say there's delays. And then I've also ordered I think the IPA kit again. And the reason why I've ordered the IPA kit is I'm going to try dry hopping it. I haven't seen anyone do it this way, because most people I've seen do dry hopping actually put the hops in beforehand, or make a hop tea and pour it in and then do the brewing. But the problem with that is that the hops are in there longer and you get more of the bitterness coming through. What I'm trying to do is get the fruit flavor or the citrus elements from the hops. So I'm going to look to try and do the brew, let it brew. Once it's finished brewing, add in the hop tea, and see if I can make something more hoppier. So I've looked at the hops they originally use in it, and I'm going to be adding some of those hops additional afterwards in a dry hop element. Will it come out? I don't know. I don't know. That is one of those ones that's probably going to go wrong as well, but nice for experimenting. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. If it blows up my pinter, it blows up my pinter. What can I do at that stage? Cry a bit and then find another way to brew. I've got my bucket. I've got the other pinter. Yeah, it should all be okay, hopefully. For the dry hopping process, I would try and leave the hops in for 3 days. I think 3 days would be suitable for it. I done 3 days for my Citra IPA from Wilco, and that smelled amazing. I did actually, I cracked open a bottle of that after one day, flat as, but tasted amazing. I just had a chat with some of my friends, and I was like, I did brew something that smells amazing the other day, and I wanted to show it, and I tasted it. It was amazing, but carbonation would do it wonders. And I'm hoping, I've put a bottle in the fridge. I've not got it up here. I've got a bottle in the fridge, and I'm hoping to try that one last, because it might be a total failure at the moment, because it's only been a week since I bottled it. A week and 2 days. I bottled Thursday the previous week, so a week and 2 days. I'm hoping the pinter, I've only just put it in for conditioning today, so I'm hoping the pinter version of the Uplands Social might be available for me to try next Saturday, or Paddy's Day. Even Paddy's Day's on the following Tuesday, isn't it? So hopefully it might be a bit more carbonated by then, but I think it's going to be low carbonation because of my mess up. Even though I said this is a sipper, it's bloody going down easy, isn't it? Right, I'm going to take a quick. I was going to take a quick break to just grab something. Hi, Steve. I'm good, mate. Hope you're doing well. I don't think I've said hi to anyone, actually. Hi, Tyrannosaurus and Alex and Fergood. Thank you for joining. What was your item in the pinter that you tapped last night, and how long had it been conditioned for? I tend to find that you do need to leave it longer for conditioning to get better flavour. And as I will prove, with my bottled one, it comes out a hell of a lot more flavour after you've left it much longer, and you can do that when you bottled it. So it'll be interesting to see how it comes out. Right, I'm just going to take a quick cut. I just need to get something out of the cupboard over there. I'm going to be back in a second, I hope. I hope I'm choosing the right one. I don't know. I'll go with this. Back sooner than you can imagine. So this is the all grains that I've got. This is the malts and everything I've got in here, and I've actually got this from Brews Store. Yeah, Brews Store, and they sell 4.5 litre kits. So this is what I'm going to try doing. Brewing a bag. They sell it all as a one kit. Now, if you buy the malts separately, you could buy your own malts, different malts, mix it. So much cheaper. They don't charge much at all, really. But with this, it's sort of already a predetermined recipe. You've got the malts, you've got the hops, they're giving you the yeast, and hops are all there, and the recipe to follow. And for my first brew in a bag, obviously, I'm not going to just dive straight in like a fool, am I? I'm going to use some guidance and recipes at that stage. So you brewed 7 days, Cold Crash 1, and then 10 Fresh Republic. See, Fresh Republic Lager. Yeah, some people say it comes out really good. Yeah, it was okay for me. I didn't really get too much from it, but there's a limit to lager, really, isn't it? It's either really clean or you're being expecting something else of it. That's why I'm interested in the latest lager that they've got coming out, which is delayed, and I'm surprised if they're going to still do a live Instagram session of whatever they're brewing. I can't remember what it's called this month. It's got a weird name. I don't know why I'm being lazy. I've got my computer just set up right in front of me. What is the greater good current one? Oh, I was hoping I had greater good saved here. Bloody hell, I don't. I'm using the wrong browser. Okay. By now, what's the latest one in their pint packs? No, I clicked in the wrong thing. Fresh beer. West Nouveau Lager. Yeah. West Nouveau Lager. That's the current one that they're doing. Which, as I say, is supposed to be a West Coast lager on the American taste, which is why I'm thinking Sierra Nevada, which is quite a nice beer. I'm also interested in seeing how their bigger packs that are 1 litre with the higher ABV come out as well. With regards to all grain brewing, Steve, it's my first time, but it's supposed to be easy. It's the idea that you can buy the grains. It takes longer, but you have more choice about what you're putting in. It's cheaper as well. The actual kit, this is, I think, a tenner to create 4.5 litres of beer. And that is obviously cheaper than a pinter, but I'm going to be putting in a pinter and see how it comes out. But if you bought, I said, the malt yourself rather than buying a kit, the malt's charged like 2p per 10 grams or something silly like that. So you can see how cheap it could be to put it all together. Yeah, something to consider. Right, I'm going to finish this and I'm going to move on to probably what is my second favourite home kit brew that I've done. Now I'm just going to admit all the ones I've done so far are all the ones I've done so far in total have ever been extracts. So the pinter extracts or the extracts from the kits that you buy. Oh, that's nice. And I'm now realizing that I don't really have any more glassware to hand here. So I'm going to open up my box of nucleated glasses. Yes, I am. Might as well drink the end of the other bit. That is a good beer. Perfect for winter. It's not actually a warm day outside today, so perfect for a day like today. What I'm going to do next is my third brew that I've done, or fourth if you count the 1A, 1B for the original kit that I messed up. But yeah, brew number 3 is the good old classic Woodford's Wherry. So, Woodford's Wherry, just trying to work out which way to point at the damn camera. Hope it comes out. There we go. Brew number 3, Woodford's Wherry. I didn't bother putting a date on this one as I was on the other ones. This one, as I say, was July, and it's come out at roughly 3.8% when I bottled it. So 3.8% on bottling. So hopefully it should be around 4% after 7 months in a bottle. Woodford's Wherry is normally a 2-can kit. You don't need any other sugars. You just put 2 cans in. And then they give you 2 sachets of yeast as well. I think they do. Yeah, I think they do. So you just pour your Woodford's Wherry all in and all your water in up to the level that you need. I actually decided to do smaller batches, and that's why I moved towards the Pinter. I prefer the smaller batches. And with this, I actually only used 1 can. So I done a 1 can kit, and the 1 can kit was just 11 litres in total. And this was delicious when I last had it. I've been drinking so much Pinter stuff, I can't remember when I actually had this. Now I'm opening the bottle slowly. For the pressure, just feel it pressuring out the edge all over me there. Right, let's see if I can pour a wherry into a nucleated glass slowly enough from someone that's probably terrible at pouring on camera, but in real life I think I'm better at pouring. Right. The idea is I keep getting excited on camera at this stage and go, oh, it's not 2 amps ahead. The head development has already started. And there we go. I am able to do it. I am able to pour a beer with a nice head on top. There we go. Oh, that smells nice. To me, it's not exactly a wherry. I've had wherry in bottle. Actually had it. Woodford's was. I do a UK brewery project thing at the moment. I've got a few little projects. You're at home, you're locked down and not able to go out. You've got projects. So I started seeing, could I have a beer from every brewery in the UK? With lockdown at the moment, I'm just buying beers in from different sources and having them. Potentially after lockdown, I could go to the breweries and the tap rooms and have the beers there. Now, it's a project. If I was to carry it on, God, I'd be going to retirement probably with it. But it's almost as bad as one of my other things before lockdown that I was doing. They say men love to have challenges and tick boxes to do in life. I think it is true. I think it's true. We've got to have something to keep us going outside the monotony of work and all the rest that life brings. So that is a lovely, clear, golden colour. I can put my finger there and you can see it on the camera coming through. I'm trying to see if it can refract and see my face through it slightly. There you go. So that is beautifully clear, as you'd expect. A lovely head on top. A sweet malty aroma. Again, a wherry is a bitter, so a sweet malty aroma. That is sessionable. That is nice and sessionable. So I said the 1 can kit was 1.5 kilo kit, and they give you a 6 gram yeast sachet. Trying to think of the word. I brewed this for 16 days, so going on with OBS. Reconnection successful. Okay. I don't know how much that you actually heard. I'll just repeat it quickly, just in case. Yeah, so I used 1 can kit, and 1.5 kilogram kit, 6 grams yeast, and it was 16 days before I bottled it. So you sometimes got to wait. So saying day 12, it was at 10:13 when I measured. Day 14, it dropped to 10:11. 10:11 on day 16. That means it stayed flat. It hadn't got to like the 10:08 or something that I expected, but I bottled that, and I've no doubt it's increased in the bottle slightly, because as I said, there were still sugars for the yeast, plus the priming sugar they put in to eat at it. But yeah, it's I would say it's supposed to be 4%, and I've managed to get it to 3.8 before bottling, and I reckon it's 4%, which is bang on the mark. Yeah, Steve, my comment yesterday on your channel. Oh, I'm terrible at pouring on camera, honestly. Terrible, terrible at it. You seem to be, you do it right for the camera, particularly. You've got it at the nice right angle, and you're doing it like that. I'm still going from my days when I worked at a pub. The whole idea of when you're pouring from a keg, the head develops from the beginning of the pour. A lot of pubs that you go to think that they can swirl it around at the end to create a head when it's flat. If you're halfway up the glass and there's no head developed, the beer is not going to develop. It's either the glass or the keg, or they've not got the correct gas or run out of gas, anything like that. The idea in a pub is when you pour that first bit in, you should be developing the head straight away, and you're bringing that head up with you and building it gradually, but obviously not overbuilding it. But yeah, pub craft, yeah. But home pouring from a bottle, completely different. And these are quite pressurized. I was making sure that I put primary sugar. I was going for, based off the spreadsheet that I was using. I was trying to go bang in the middle to make sure that it was not too overcarbonated and I had bottle explosions. These bottles, by the way, are absolutely lovely. I love these bottles. I picked these up, well, before Brexit, from Germany. I put an order in and just ordered a load of these bottles and these style bottles from a place in Germany. Now I'd have to pay import charges, so I'm glad I jumped in and got that before all the imports and all the rest came in. But we're going to talk about politics. But yeah, this is coming out lovely. Now, one thing to point out with this is that I don't know if you can see, and I'm really, really hoping it shows at some stage. No, so it looks quite flat to you. So it's actually pushing up bubbles, but very small, tiny bubbles from the bottom of the nucleated glass coming up. But that's just a nucleated glass. It is an ale that's smooth. So the Uncle Teddy's were quite carbonated, as you could tell anyways by the pouring. By this stage I'd learned how a bit better at the sugar level I should be putting in. But this, it's just smooth. You got the bit of carbonation that goes around the mouth. Not too much carbonation, which is perfect for the beer of this style. And that is delicious. See, that's sessionable. This is why, at the moment for me, it's between two. So it is between, for beer that I prefer. This one, by the way, it's not called Let It Snow. My missus writes the labels, and she wrote so many different names for this one, drawn symbols on them. I just let her do some little art on them all the time. You can tell the ones I've done where I literally just write a name and a batch number or something against it. I've got two more here, and then I've got the Citra IPA. Now, I didn't know how long this was going to take to go through, but we'll see. I'm going to be pissed by the end of this, I'll tell you that. So a bit worried about using glass bottles because of the bottle bomb. Yeah, so when I first done these brews, what I was doing was also, I think I learned this from watching Raggy's channel. I would put one into a plastic bottle. So I was using at that stage for the big brews, like a 2 litre bottle. And you can then at that stage tell when it's carbonated by squeezing it, because obviously the pressure's built up and the bottle's solid. What I actually have moved on to is, and I'll be a second again, I'm just going to the cupboard. I have bought some see-through glass bottles, and I think these ones were, I don't know, the Range or Wilco or something like that. And this is just so I can see when something has been settled. So what I have here is the Uplands Social, which from the Pinter has gone absolutely clear. That is totally clear, unlike what I poured from the Pinter, and that looks beautiful. I'm not drinking this one. I've got the one that I'm going to be drinking in the fridge still. No, here. What am I talking about? I've got it here. And then this is the Citra IPA. Now, it is totally hazy at the moment, but that's because I want this to match what the Pinter has. So I shook the Pinter around and rolled it around to make sure the yeast hadn't settled when I put the sugars in, the extra sugars. And to match it, I done the same with this. So I completely shook up everything on this, but you can see the yeast has started to settle at the bottom, and that's that little, it's hard to see, but that's that little thing. Can you see the white there? That's some yeast that's settling. This is one of the first. I think it's one of the first that I poured off, wasn't it? It was the second one in the video, I think. Yeah, so you can see the yeast settling on the bottom there again, but this has to drop just as bright as this before I actually tap the Pinter itself. So it's a nice measure that I use to work out what I should be opening or not. But because I now wait for them to drop bright, I don't really worry much about the carbonation level, which is what I was originally doing with the plastic. With the plastic, obviously it's see-through and you can do that, but I just moved away from using plastic. I haven't had any bottle bombs at all. No bottle bombs where they've exploded. So, yeah. Right, so Adam, hey, how are you doing, Adam? Nice to see you. You're calling it success. You drank it all last week, and the additions get a lovely taste in ABV. You got your kit today. That's good. Be interesting to see how that goes. I said I've not had a mangrove Jack kit at all, but I hear good things about them, so I'm expecting a good kit from that one. That's 23 litres, isn't it, as well? You bought some bottles to go with it, I believe. Alex, what additions to the Citra IPA did I add? Are you on about? With the Citra IPA, I added sugar. I added malt, light spray malt. I added some extra sugars, and I added obviously Citra at the end. But yeah, Adam on his one, he added 200 grams of light spray malt and 100 grams of brewing sugar to his lager. Yeah, I realised that now. When Adam responded, I was like, yeah, I got that wrong. Yeah, but that lager was the Fresh Republic as well, wasn't it, Adam? Yeah, I'm just trying to think because they only do. Do they do 3 lagers now? Yeah, I think so. You can count it as 3 lagers. Yeah. Probably going to my head right now. I've had. I'll count the first one as not even a beer, and then part of that 6% or maybe 6.5, and now this one. Wow. Yeah, I say. I also think when you have a beer matters as well, like company you're with, and also when you have it. So when it's winter, when it's dark and cold, the dark beers are good, aren't they? You enjoy the malts and the extra ABV that it gives as well, which is why the dark mat stout is amazing. But I don't think it'll be a big seller in summertime, or as big a seller in summertime, because in summertime you're looking for the it's hot, something to quench your thirst, and that's where the idea of the lagers and everything I think will be very successful. Um, and I say it's all about that setting. Having a lager in the depth of winter, when it's snowing outside at that stage, probably wasn't the best time to have a lager. But have that again in, summertime and at a barbecue with some friends around, it will go down a treat. So it's all about the setting. Yeah, and there's a loads and loads of kits out there. So many kits to try. I haven't even dabbled with half of them. I do watch. I think they're called Partridge. I'm going to say Partridge. I can't remember exactly the. I'll probably find them quickly. Actually, yeah, I use. I watch them Partridge, and they do loads of their brothers, and they do some kits. Um, Partridge Beer Reviews, is that it? Yeah, Beer Kit Reviews Partridge, and they've done loads of kits. And I watch to see what they think about the kits. Although I take with a pinch of salt their overall outcome when they say, "Oh, that's amazing," to a lot of them. Um, but that's credit also probably to the brewing that they do at a stage. So Stars and Stripes came out perfect, but 3.28% ABV. Oh, Public House IPA. I said I think I've got that on order with them. 100 grams sugar and 100 grams of light spray malt as well. Hopefully a bit more of a kick this time. Yeah, I felt with the Pinter that the ABVs haven't been hitting perhaps what they expected. Now, I know I did test on one of them, it did hit it, and or just about, but I always do feel that their 4% is quite a low mark to be hitting. They should be giving you stuff that, especially with the lagers in the premium range of 4.5 to 5. And then when you've got that 4.5 to 5, you can um, miss it by a bit and still be happy because you've still got something at 4%. Whereas if they give out 4% one and something doesn't go right, like the yeast doesn't fully ferment, then you're ending up with something that you can clearly tell at like 3.8 is weak. Whereas if it was 4.5 and it ended up being 4.3, you wouldn't notice as much just because the ABV's there. Um, you can't get rid of the yeasty taste. What are you doing, Hugh? um, ah, I, are you letting it fully settle? Is the yeast when you actually open up the brewing dock? Is the you get the trub? I do recommend this, and even if you're not going to use it for bread, I do recommend not just pouring the trub down the brewing dock remains down the drain. I recommend you pour that into like even a plastic takeaway tub or just a Tupperware if the missus lets you, and put it in there and then let it settle. And when it settles out, you'll see how much yeast has gone in there. If you're not getting much yeast at the bottom there, then you've still got yeast in your product. And that's where the cold crash that people use comes in handy. You finish the brewing, so for the 7 days, you brew it for 7 days. You still keep it upright with the brewing dock at the bottom, but you move it somewhere cold. The cold helps that yeast drop down. So they will just fall down and stop working at that stage. You'll still have some suspended in the beer to help with the final conditioning, but then you will see more drops into that brewing dock. And when you pour that into your little Tupperware, when it does settle, you'll see a big, thick line of yeast. And that means you should have less in the actual beer and you'll have a cleaner product. Yeah, 5% Adam. That's always a good one to get to. I said premium product. That's what it should be. But yeah, Adam, yours was. I know it was really long, and I felt having to wait for 3 weeks for mine was bloody long. 4 weeks for yourself. That you've got a lot of patience at that stage. Just like when brewing in, I spilled a bit over myself. When brewing in the I find it easier if I'm brewing in the bucket to resist the urge because I bottle it. Whereas when it's in the pinter, I'm sort of like, oh, well, it's ready, but it's a bit hazy. And I turn it, but it's pressured and it's just ready to pull that tap. So it's hard to hold off. Whereas when it's in a bucket, it's not easy to pour the beer and then you bottle it and go, ah, well, I never know when it's going to be ready. And that's where the glass bottle, I'm like, oh, it's still not settled. Um, It'd be weird. I'm just thinking, is there a way they could build a pinter where you've got a see-through bit that you could see how clear all the color inside, but that would sort of open up to temperature fluctuations a bit more. Oh well. Right, I feel myself rambling now. We're an hour in nearly. I know I started late. I had problems with my mic. I wasn't supposed to actually have the Bose headphones on that I own. I got them about 6 years ago. I've worn them all of maybe 5 times because the missus has stolen them from me. Um, yeah, you heard it here first. Clear Pinter. Yeah. If they made it fully see-through, that would be interesting. And if they do, I want some credit for that. If they make a see-through pinter, I want the money. That'll get light struck beer entirely. No, I'm just thinking like a little gauge on the side so you can look at it and go, oh, that looks clear. But then you won't be able to see because it's dark inside. So I'm talking nonsense now. Yeah, the pressure gauge, if they had a pressure gauge, that'd be good. I'm actually tempted to buy an ice spindle, and I was looking into this anyways back in when I was doing the homebrewing in May, when I'd done my first brew. I was looking to buy an ice spindle, and there are other people that do homebrew versions of it as well. I mean, it's literally just a silicon kit. I can't even think. My brain's just gone. Yeah, you got your card, and then they put it into a watertight sealed container with a battery inside, which obviously you would need to then get into to change the battery when the battery that's rechargeable dies. Um, but yeah, the ice spindle is very interesting to put into the pinter, just so you can see where it's going, what the temperature is, and what the actual ABV is potentially at that stage. I do find that very interesting. And I am tempted to get that. I've just always I balked at the price a few times, but I've seen the prices as it's become a bit bigger, the prices dropped. But when I was first looking, or maybe it was just lockdown and demand, they were wanting, I think it was 90 quid for it, which I felt was a bit over the top for it. And the people that were making themselves, that were selling on eBay, they were wanting about 40 quid, which more reasonable, but I was a bit like, do I want to? I'm not sure, but I think I will get one. Um, but it does take the guesswork out of the game a bit. And if it goes wrong, who do you blame? Like, if you get the guesswork wrong, you blame yourself. If you're going off the ice spin or it goes wrong, who do I blame? I can only blame either, well, myself again from getting something wrong at the beginning or the kit. Oh, yeah, let's see. I was tempted to, at some stage, I was thinking, oh, I've got my Citra IPA bread that I made downstairs that I could cut open. But nah, I'm not feeling hungry. Just hungry for more beer. Yeah. Right, and the next one might satisfy that need. I have had my Wherry, only the yeast in that. I've got my Let It Snow, again, only yeast in that. I'm going to put these up on my windowsill here. The Uncle Teddy's, which is horrible. I don't know if it was a kit or just me brewing. I'm going to blame myself brewing. I realise I've blocked out the light a bit, so I'm just going to put that back here. Being a professional alcoholic at this stage, I'm going to have a drink of water. A big gulp of water. Yeah, the ice spindle, it's all about temperature. Now, as I say, when you're taking your final gravity reading of a beer, you need to ensure that your temperature is consistent. If the temperature is, even when you're taking your first reading or any readings, you need to be aiming for room temperature with a hydrometer, because it will, be variable based on the temperature of the liquid that you're putting in. Now, I don't know if the ice spindle, with its thermometer, is able to then change the calculation to take into the fact that it's measuring the value at that different temperature. I don't know if the software is actually doing those calculations, or it's just giving you the reading based off what the hydrometer says it is without taking into account the thermometer. But yeah, you would have to do those calculations if that is the case. A bit like when I pour my pinter and I take that final gravity reading, I will pour out that excess foam bit to begin with, throw it away, also look at it just to see, is it clear? Is it ready for me to go? Does it smell okay? Then I will pour a bit slowly into my measuring cylinder and drop the hydrometer in, and I will give that a crazy stir, and I will give it multiple stirs before I even start filming. I do all this, and then I get my tripod, and I've got a light over here just to help light up the room a bit more, because just the main light wouldn't create enough brightness at this stage. But yeah, I get everything set up, and then I give it another stir again, and then I start my review, and I will then try and take the reading partway through that review, where I've hopefully knocked out most of the carbonation, because the carbonation will affect your reading, because the bubbles are obviously coming up and they're pushing the hydrometer up slightly. So once you've got that beer flat, the hydrometer can fully settle down and it gives you that higher reading. If you do it when it's carbonated, then you could expect maybe 2 points less on that hydrometer, which could equal, depending on your gravity and everything, could knock 0.3% off your beer on the reading. So you don't want to really do that. Right, I'm gonna reach in. I've got a whole box of glasses here, by the way, all clean. Oh, I say that and I look at it and go, did I not clean that one? These are the ones that I use for, oh dear, I am now concerned. I haven't cleaned 2 of those properly. Yeah, I've got a whole box of glasses that I bought for my, what I call my lineup challenge. I call it the lineup on my, what's it called? The playlists. I've got a lineup. So that's where I have 10 beers of a category, and I drink them, blinded, unknown what they are, rank them in the way that I think is best, and then, try and stab in the dark and take a guess. What I'm trying to do is do one of those each month. I've got next one coming out. Well, they're going to come out 23rd of every month at the moment. That's my plan. I've already recorded the one for this month and the one for next month. So I've just got to edit them. I haven't done that yet. So yeah, those are what these glasses are all for. I've got 12 of them, proper half pint glasses. Now I'm opening. I gave my mate one of these, and the one that I'm about to go into now. Oh dear. Right, I don't know if this is gonna be visible on the camera. I should really bring up the camera on here. Oh, right. No, can you see there's little bits on the edge of the glass there on the bottle top? It looks like this one may have leaked slightly. Can you see there's also a little brown thing there as well? So I wonder if the rubber is broken. I was just literally about to say, I gave my mate one of these, and I think the rubber's still didn't work on the one that I gave him. And yeah, his wasn't carbonated. It was flat on the pop, but this is carbonated. And I've just put up on the screen say what this one is, and it's a big kicker. Big kicker. I'm going to be drunk after this one. This is a strong blonde that's coming in at 7%. And yep, I am more than likely going to be absolutely pissed after this, Steve. But this is why it's early doors. Early doors. It's my missus' birthday tomorrow as well. So yeah, I've got to do it today. I didn't really drink much yesterday. I had Steve, I'm gonna level with you. I had the dragon soup yesterday that Harry from Blue Nose has. I had dragon soup, 7.5%, 500 ml, 2.99 can, and what is it? 30 milligrams of caffeine per 100 grams. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't really do coffee. I don't really do caffeine apart from in my tea. And I was still awake at 3:30 in the morning today. I couldn't sleep. Too much caffeine. The drink wise, I had dark fruits and it just tasted like a really, really weak, bad pour already. Really, really weak Strongbow black cider. I'm dropping this. I'm trying to pour it slowly. Strongbow black fruits or just a watered down Robinson. So the flavor wasn't great. I drank it. There wasn't even much carbonation to it, to be honest. But it was not an enjoyable drink. Oh shit! I swore. I didn't mean that. Sorry, guys. I am seeing huge yeasty lumps. Oh my god! And in this glass, they're just flying around. Oh, can I actually even get the light to show that properly? Oh, you can actually see it. Can you see those? Oh, oh god. Oh, oh, I don't think I want to touch this one. Oh, do I drink it? Right, right, give me a few moments. I'm going to see if I have another glass, another bottle of this that is chilled. I'm going to go into my cupboard and just quickly check. So I'm going to be a few seconds. And with that, I'm going to say cue dramatic music, or it may not be. Let's. All right, found another bottle. To be honest, oh, it's got the same on the top here. I think it has definitely a sort of bottle blow slightly on this. I'm going to pour this into a non-carbonated glass because if it does come out yeast, it hopefully will fall to the bottom rather than in the carbonated glass that I've got right now where it is literally just cycling round and round and round. And I'm looking at the glass, and this looks much, much cleaner in the actual glass I'm pouring from. All right, just keep an eye on it. And I can see the yeast starting to come there, so I'm going to stop. Okay, so that one's much better. Much, much better. Pour. This one, fuck me, oh God. I'm going to have to try and show this as best I can. All right, let me hold this up first of all. Right, I'm going to hold this up, and I'm going to show you that this one, you can see my finger in it, and it's clear, yeah? Let me show you this one. Because of the carbonation at the bottom, it is totally hazy. That yeast is no longer bouncing round because it's been broken up into tiny little pieces. So, now, in my favour, interestingly enough, this is a strong blonde. If I were to get a beer like that in a bottle, not with the yeast obviously floating around, oh God, you can see the yeast in the foam. Do I dare? Do I dare? Can you see the yeast has made a mark in the foam there? Oh dear. Do I dare? I'm going to try it still. Proper Belgium style. Go in. You know, I'm not going to drink this all, but I might as well. Right, here we go. That is bloody strong. Right, not drinking the rest of that. My missus is going to come back and see all of these glasses, not the bottles though, and she's going to think, bloody hell, what's he been up to? Right, I'm going to chuck this down the drain and hope I don't block the drain up at all. Anyway, right, I'm not drinking that. Sorry, Steve, I'm not drinking that. That would mean I'm going to spend the rest of the night in the old boys' room. I'm not doing that. I'm going to go for the much clearer one. So, my lovely missus got me this glass with the brand in. First time I'm using it. She got it back in Christmas for me. I've chucked it. I can't drink. I've opened it. I can't drink that and then go buck all night. I've still got some in the bottle, but like I've got half the bottle in there. That needs to settle, and I didn't even. Do you know what? That's a lie. That doesn't need to settle. If I pour it into, do you know? I'm going to pour the rest of that into this glass after. I think the carbonation, nucleation at the bottom just made it kick up a bit. This, I was going to say it needs to settle a bit more. It doesn't need to settle anymore. It's been here for 6 months, more than 6 months. I'm bad at counting. So August 2020. So let me just quickly explain which one this was. So this is the Strong Blonde, and again, it's from Brew Firm. So I said Brew Firm are known for their very big ABV beers. Yeah, the big ABV beers. And this was, again, a 1.5 kilo kit. They gave 8 grams of yeast. And I just realised what else I'd done. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, this explains it. I chucked in 1 kilo of extra light spray malts. Oh, bugger me. Yeah, so 7.5% this is, with the spray malt, 1.5 kilo kit. I used mineral water, just Tesco's Ashbeck mineral water, 2 bottles of 5 litre. So a 10 litre kit with 2.5 kilos of fermentables. Bloody hell. I tell you, it's potent. Not in the bad way. It tastes good. It's just, this is strong. And I've still got 2 more beers to get through after this. Jeez. Right, this is, I feel my face getting red. Do you see that? Oh, it feels like it's getting red from the alcohol heat kicking in. Oh, this is Raggy Avenue. 7.5% when it was bottled, meaning that it's been there for, as I say, 7, 8 months, and it has taken probably even more on of it. So the final gravity when I bottled was, wow. Yeah, that explains my bottle blows, right? Actually, I just looked. I bottled these at 10.25. That's a high gravity to be bottling at, which explains why I've had these blows at the top. And I said, I've got, might explain why my mate had a very flat one, because if it had blown enough, it would have dissettled the rubber seal. I'm looking there and I can see yeast blowing out and all the rest. Yeah, I've been very lucky there. That was very close to proper bottle blows going everywhere. But yeah, these bottles definitely have blown. The only thing I would go in my favour, and I didn't add any priming sugar to these at all. It's the only thing that would go in my favour. I didn't drop any priming sugar in. But yeah, that is potent. It's a very, very strong one. Oh, it's nice. I'm just thinking, am I in a mood for a Belgian? Oh dear. Well, I've started, so I'll finish. Unfortunately, the state I finish in, who knows? But I've started. Oh, right. This is going to be I don't want it to be a sipper because it'll take too long. Just put my foot up and kicking back and relaxing. Now you can tell the state I'm in. So, James, on your question about adding extra hops during the fermentation stage, um, I'm all for trying it. But what I feel at the moment is a lot of people that have done it have created a hop tea, i.e., put the hops in hot water and left them there for a bit. The hops are probably in a bag at that stage, and then taken out and poured that in with the mix and then close it up. Or they've put the hops into a bag and dropped it in and tightened up the brew. Now, that is going to give the hop flavour, but as the yeast actually does its fermentation process, it's going to turn a lot of that hop into hop bitterness. And this is the thing, you've got to, when you add hops into a brew, it's all about the stage that you add them. So if you add them into the brewing stage, you get more of the hop bitterness. If you add it as a dry hop, which is at the end of the brewing stage, or actually when brewing has ceased and before you condition, you put the hops in. Now, hops themselves are sterile just based on what they are. But what I'm looking to do or try when I get my next Pinter pack through from the Great Good is I'm going to try something slightly different. I'm going to put my IPA that I've ordered from them into the Pinter and brew it as normal. But I say brew as normal. I'm not going to attach the brewing dock. I'm going to brew it without the brewing dock. And then when I've done that and left it to brew its full brew period, I'm then going to create a hop tea and I'm going to fill the brewing dock up with this hop tea. I'm then going to attach reverse from normal the brewing dock and try and screw it on that way. So I'm not adding any oxygen into my solution. The brewing dock's going to be filled to the top. Pardon me, bit of burp. I'm going to I'll put my hand up here. Hand should be here. I'm going to turn that brewing dial before I do this to let some of the pressure out of the barrel, out of the pinter, before I dock it. And then once that's done, I'm going to mix it. I'm going to mix it up because there should be barely any oxygen at that stage in there. I hope I haven't introduced any oxygen. And the yeast will act a little bit with it, but the hop tea will mix in with the beer. That's my aim. I have no idea if that will work, so I do not recommend you do that until you see whether I've failed completely or if it has worked. But it is worth a try. if that doesn't work, I may just go the other hopping route of dropping stuff in. Phil, avoiding bottle bums. Well, it looks like I was very close. I've just avoided, but they've still blown slightly on these ones. Um, the idea of bottle bomb is that you've bottled it too high before the fermentation has finished or completed, and then obviously you're not just getting the conditioning phase of the final CO2 when you put in, say, the priming sugar, and you just kick up the yeast to create the CO2. Which, so if you fill your bottle up to, say, we'll go to the top of the neck here, and then you have a bit of priming sugar that's added in there. The idea is that the CO2 will build up, but the pressure won't be too much that it pops open the cap. But the CO2 that does build up will go back into the beer, and that's what carbonates it. If you bottle before the fermentation is finished, then you're in trouble, because the fermentation will continue in the bottle, and that's when you get your explosions. That's the only thing that I could think of that's going to cause those issues. The other side, obviously, is if you, I say only, the other side is if you chuck too much priming sugar in. And I do recommend, and I'm going to have to load it up quickly because obviously I completely messed it up. There's a thing called Homebrew, and a guy called Pete, I think, runs it. Pete's Homebrew, and he has a spreadsheet that he has, which will tell you all different elements, and it goes into very, very big detail that you may not be interested in. But there's a tab on the spreadsheet on his website that you can download, and the tab is the primer tab. And on the primer tab, to begin with, you put in, and I've got the old one here. The new one will be slightly different. You put in what your brew level is, i.e. how much you've got, so say 20 litres or 10 litres. Then what is a carbonation level that you want. So the carbonation level handily has a little table on the side, and really what I should be doing is trying to share this with you so I can show you, but I don't know how my screen is set up. I'm hoping this comes out to you. So the idea is that that may not even be coming out, you may be seeing something else. There's a little table here showing all the beer styles, and you would choose your beer style that you're going for. So, for example, Indian Pale Ale, and it would say you put in 1.5. Do you want low carbonation or high carbonation? These are the carbonation levels. The average is 1.9. In here, you would put your carbonation levels, say 1.9. This is where the old one's different than the other one, but there we go. And then you would say how much you're brewing. So 23 litres, 1.9 carbonation, and it says you need to create a bottling solution of 4 grams of sugar per litre. So you've got 4 grams of sugar, 4.2 grams of glucose or dextrose, if that is the case that you're using. But yeah, I'm not sure if that, because I didn't actually set up for my screen share. I think you just seen anything random there. Actually, I'm going to check back on the live to see what you've seen even. Oh, you did see it. Perfect. Yeah. So I do recommend that. It is really handy to find out how much priming you should add to your bottle. And I would always aim for the low to medium carbonation on his spreadsheet. But if you just literally search Yo Brew as one word and put in Pete or Pete's Brew, even at that stage, I think you should come out and see his spreadsheet there. But the spreadsheet's changed from the one I've got there, and this is the problem. I use my other computer, and at that top I had a setting where I say a teaspoon is 1 gram, and I didn't do that. On the new one it doesn't have that, and I read the bottom line as I normally would, but the bottom line now is for teaspoons of sugar, and yeah, I put wrong in my pinter. But I didn't bottle wrong. The bottle, I just went off what I remembered from memory. But, oh well. I hope that answers your question. While I'm sitting there going, I'm getting redder and redder. I feel my face starting to glow. I feel the heat coming off my face. Jeez. That's the 6%er and this 7.5, maybe even 8 by now, based on how long it's been in the bottle. Honestly, guys, thanks for watching. I really was just expecting perhaps to do a drunken solo live review at this stage. I was just going to review these and use the internal YouTube edit to just change a few things. It's Saturday, not much to do. Don't fancy doing anything else, and thought, I'll do a live stream of this rather than having to edit it and upload it because it will take forever to put up. Um, while I'm obviously sipping and going on this one, I might as well just talk a bit about the Pinter quickly. And not a moan or anything, because I know they've got delays in delivery and all the rest. I perfectly understand that. Just something I find a bit funny. In their recent live streams, they do go on a lot about their sustainability and how you should choose the Pinter because it's eco-friendly. And then, as I said on one of the Facebook groups, eco-friendly, but then they send out the Pinter on a whole, well, the new Pinter tap in a massive tube. Get my hands in this in a big tube like this that you normally get a poster in, and then they put the Pinter tap about that big in that huge tube with two posters. It's like, that's not quite eco-friendly, is it? But I do question their eco-friendliness because they say they chose the Pinter Fresh Press because of, not because it's eco-friendly, but because it's the lightest and best thing to transport that will keep the product. And I do think they're trying to play up their eco elements a bit too much when most of us, it's not about eco, it's just about we want to do some brewing easily at home. And I do think the idea of the Pinter is very good, with 5 litres being a really good brew level, especially you buy the 5 litre mini kegs for barbecues and everything. 5 litre Pinter of your own brew is brilliant to come with. I think it will go really well. And I just do think they're playing up the eco environments, eco element of it more than it should perhaps be. I don't think it's that eco. They go on about like water savings. Actually, a lot of breweries nowadays are very much about the water saving. Um, and the water saving on you know, using a Pinter isn't what they say it is, because we have to clean the Pinter and then sanitize it. I mean, and then you brew, and then you've got to clean it out after. And we're not efficient with that. Whereas when you go to a lot of breweries, they're actually very now efficient in reusing that water and eco on it. So I do think they play up the element of us being very eco of doing it. It's not really. Live streams. Do you know what? Depends how I look back at this one. I may do some more live streams. A first tap in would be interesting, but the problem I got with first tap in is I don't really want to sit in the kitchen and do a tap in from the fridge. That's awkward. And moving the Pinter up here is a bit of an issue because it may, set a bit of sediment loose, so it does cause a bit of an issue. So let's see. Um, Yeah, the Brewdog lost like, yeah, eco is a marketing gimmick big time. But I understand why the Pinters say it, the Great Goods say it, but they really were pushing it in their last live stream, and I just thought it was nonsense. I really do think it is, because I say a lot of these breweries are able to capture the heat from the fermentation stage and use that for something else. Whereas what do we do with the heat? We don't do anything. We just let the Pinter, extrude the heat out into the environment, or extrude's not the right word actually, but radiate that heat out. And yeah, and they go on about like if you think of home kits, actual bigger homebrew kits are more environmentally friendly because you are getting them in recycled metal tins. And I know they say, oh, that costs more to transport, but that actually can be reused. Alongside that, it's creating a bigger amount. And the Craft Brew channel, yeah, so The Alchemist, is The Alchemist, do you know what? I'm thinking of a pub called The Alchemist. I don't think I've had a beer from the Alchemist. Are they American Alchemist or are they UK based? Yeah, I think a lot of breweries are more eco now because heating and water are major bills. And they're not just going to go, it's cheap, let's do it. It doesn't work that way. It costs them. They're paying on a meter per what they're doing. And you scale up and go, well, they're not going to fill the whole fermentation vessel with water to clean it out. They fill it only a certain amount and then clean it. They sort of recommend we fill the pint all the way up to the line to clean it in the first place. I don't know if you've seen my recent videos. I don't do that. I put boiling water in, a bit of tap water on top to bring it down a bit so it's not boiling hot temperature, and then I shake it round. The idea is that, like with my brewing bucket, I don't fill the brewing bucket up to 30 litres to clean it. Why would I fill the pinter up to the top? I could just half fill it or under half fill it, quarter fill it, and then clean it that way. Just to answer, because Steve did ask, what is the Pinter? I am going to be back in just a second, and I will give you one of those amazing dramatic musics while I quickly go fetch something. Hello. Not even sure if I've got my mic on actually. I haven't double checked when I actually went downstage. Might have had the missus talking, asking about a parcel. So, Steve, this is the Pinter. The Pinter is just a vessel for literally all-in-one brewing. So you're supposed to buy a malt press from them. The syrup presses that you would normally get in a can, but you get in a plastic bit. And you would put it inside. I'm just going to open up. And it takes 5 litres. And it's like a thermos flask. It's got the inner layer and then the outer layer, which helps with the keeping the temperature inside when you're brewing, which is interesting. And I'm surprised there's not more homebrew bucket solutions that have done that, because you end up having to waste, heating or putting it in the airing cupboard to keep it warm. Whereas if you had insulation on the outside, it would keep that layer in. Right, Tyrannosaurus, sorry, just reading your message. I have seen it. Just ran off before I'd done that though. They invented the New England IPA. I did not know that. And I have not tried any of their beers. I will go on Untapped actually and add them to my list of things to look at. I think I've got you added on Tap, haven't I? I think I cheersed a few of your beers yesterday as you were drinking. Yeah, I think so. I'm not going crazy, am I? You can tell me if I am. Yeah, I'm on Untapped. I haven't really added my Untapped or anything onto this. I haven't been. Don't think we've been drinking too much recently. I hope not. Tyrannosaurus can confirm if I've been drinking too much recently. Right, this is going down slowly. It is going down slowly. I've just realised the heating is on as well, which is going to explain why I'm getting even redder. I don't need the heat on if I'm bloody getting hot from this. Right, while I am finishing this off, looking at the array of glasses in front of me, looks crazy. I'm going to go in to my, not box of goods, but I'm going to go in and reach in And I'm going to pop open my Uplands Social that I bottled. All right, first of all, oh, it's carbonated. Big spurt of gas there as I opened it slowly. I don't open these ones quick at all because the design of the bottle, unlike some of the other ones, it's got a curve and curve again. If I just pop it off, it just unsettles any of the yeast that's at the bottom there, and I can see there's a little thin sliver layer down there. So yeah, and just to say these at the front here are just bought them on eBay. They're just like chalkboard blackboard labels that you put on. You can write on with a chalk pen. Not my handwriting. My handwriting is that crappy handwriting. This is the Mrs. handwriting. So just checking the glass. Okay. Oh, it's on the bottom. I was like, something looked wrong on the glass. Now it's on the bottom. Right. This is going to be a very careful pour, I hope, as I try and get it on camera as well. See, the problem is I want to make sure there's a head, but not too much of a head. And there we go, Steve. That is me learning how to do it. Wow. And thank you, Trinosaurus, for confirming that I've been drinking the right amount. You're my big conscience. The thing is, you're on Untapped. You can see what I'm drinking, so you can keep track of if I'm overdoing it or not. This is wonderfully clear compared to how it was in the Pinter. And I said I left it in the Pinter for a few more days. I don't know what it is, and I'm just wondering whether the opening and closing of the door in the fridge that I've got does cause the shelf to rattle. Because what's confusing is these bottles have been on the door shelf, which opens and closes, but they've settled unlike the Pinter that was in there for the same time. So I'm not too sure. I definitely think the reason it's not settling is somehow me in the Pinter and not the Pinter itself. I'm going to try once again chucking it in the cold outdoors maybe at this stage because it's so bloody cold out there to see if that helps. Now this is the Uplands Social. The Uplands Social for me came out at 4.5%. That was based off the measures that I took of it. It's produced in, as I just shown, the Pinter, and I think it actually was made in this red one as well. Now with the Uplands Social, I did I add something? Oh dear, my memory is absolutely shot to pieces right now. I might have added something. I'm just trying to think in my head. Did I add something to it? I don't know. Yeah, I might have. I might not have. Who knows? Yeah, my beer conscience can speak in a moment and confirm or deny. I can neither confirm nor deny that you added something. I think I added like 100 grams or something, didn't I? Right. This is a session IPA. Put my nose right in there. Oh, as I said, when I had it in the Pinter, it had a slight homebrew twang. Oh, wow. Honestly, best decision ever bottling this one. Dark Matter Stout, you don't need to bottle at all. And I bet you the wheat beer, when they finally release that, you won't need to bottle it either. I think it'll be perfectly fine because flavour is there fully. For those lighter flavours, such as the lagers, Session IPA, I do think that it is all about longer term settling and brewing. It's amazing. That's a Session IPA. I'm going to admit the hops are very subtle, very light on here, but that is a Session IPA. Loving that. Oh, that's beautiful. Now I'm thinking, do I need to bottle every other Pinter? Or at least bottle one or two, just see how they come out. Oh dear, cause myself more issues. I'm just going to top myself up. I haven't even finished the 7% yet, have I? Early doors, and I've got a load of beer reviews to watch later as well. Yeah, so the Pinter Great Good are looking to increase the amount of fermentable malts in the upcoming ones. They're going to release from the 700 ml, the current Pinter pack is fresh press. They're going to increase it to 1 litre. So the 1 litre is obviously going to have more malt in there, so more fermentables. But the only problem, and the question that's not being answered, is the price. Now, my understanding is that they said all brews now are going to be shipped in this bigger format. So the Uplands Social, which is 4.5%, will rather be in the 700 ml, be in a 1 litre. Will they only fill it 700 ml, or will they dilute the solution so it fills the 1 litre? Don't know. That would probably cost more in postage. Don't understand why. But it then raises the question of the amount of oxygen or rest in there as well, and how long they pack it for. I don't know how they pack it, actually. They probably extract any oxygen or rest. But this is looking really good. Do you know what? I rate Wilco's brew selection. High street shops, it's the only place that you can guarantee they've got something there for the homebrewers. No one else, like I know, if you go back to the 80s and 90s, the high street all had homebrewing, like Boots and the rest used to do it. And I'm not old. That's just me talking out of what I know. But nowadays, really, it's Wilco if you want to go to the high street. And if I need to pick something up, Wilco isn't close to me, but there's no brew shops in my area at all. I'm being honest. I'm in North London, and if I want to go to Wilco, it's about 7 miles from me, and that's a walk. I'll walk there. That's fine. I don't mind walking. So 7 miles walk. The nearest brew shop to me was the Brewdog brew shop that they had put on Gray's Inn Road in central London, Islington. Otherwise, it's St Albans, and that's outside London, not easy for me to get to. But James, I'm interested to see how your is it Choco Meister or Chockminster? Chockmeister Stout. Yeah, that'll be interesting. You add in how much extra dark malt extract are you adding to that? Are you chucking in like a whole 500, or are you chucking in like 200 or something around those lines? That'll be interesting to see how it comes out. Fergus, they said existing. Yeah, yeah. So the new higher ones from from the Great Good will cost more. I was just wondering about the actual. They're gonna from maybe I miswatched it. I thought they said that they were going to send everything out for cost wise for them. It makes sense to just have one bottle size. So I thought they were going to send everything out in 1 litres, but you were still like the Upland Social, you would still only be 4.5%. It's not increasing ABV, but are they going to send out the 1 litre bottle with 700 ml in it, which then you turn around and go, oh, very green credentials there. Or are they going to send out the 1 litre with 1 litre of Upland Social, but it's a different concentration? So, i.e., you've got 1 litre of solution, but it's still the same sugars in there, and the malt extract is just not as boiled off or thick. It's a bit thinner. So when we pour it, will we see something runny come out? I don't know. Oh, Tyrannosaurus, you're in St Albans. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I've popped there a few times. I say it's not easy for me to get there. Mad Squirrel, don't they have a tap room there? I quite like Mad Squirrel. Yeah, up in St Albans, but also the home of Canberra. There we go. How can we forget that as well? If I'm up in St Albans, you'll see my check-in anyways. I'll hit you up anyways. I'll give you a message on Untapped if I'm up that way. When the pubs are reopen, of course. And if you're free, can catch you. Um, but yeah, the bottling is done really well on this Uplands Social. Um, Obviously, the glass makes it looks really good because the carbonation is the head's keeping. You got a bit of lacing as well. Do you see that? Oh, beautiful. I need to turn it to the camera to do the lacing. Oh, yeah. It's always good when you get a nice bit of lacing on that glass. Oh, that is nice. And this is the thing, like with the Pinter, um, I'm going to try this. If you're doing the lager, I recommend it is worthwhile, and everyone can contest this. You can go to Wilco, the Range, B&M, even I believe, and they all will sell. And they're not going to be the same design as these bottles. And these are only 330 ml, and I've got a 500 ml one. Obviously, I'm moving everything around here. But this, um, I think for me, when I picked these, I think I paid like 60 cent, i.e. euros per bottle. But yeah, I think they all of the big shops like that. I say big shops, I mean shops that sell random stuff, I should say, really, because they do have a random range. The shops that replace Woolworths. Yeah, Woolworths used to sell all the random stuff, and then they all moved in when Woolworths went under. Um, they will sell these glass bottles. You could pick yourself up a 6 or 12 pack from there, and I do think it's worthwhile. Maybe if you have had, if you've poured 5 pints from your pinter, and you're not going to drink for 2 days, it may be worthwhile moving some of those into a bottle and then putting them in the fridge and leaving them. And you actually find, one, I think the flavour gets better. Two, it will keep. And then you can get your pinter on to doing other stuff after, can't you? Yeah. I did not know that Mad Squirrel were Red Squirrel. I did not know that at all. I Look, I'm going to be honest. Mad Squirrel. I I bought my mate a box from there for his birthday in July last year, and got them sent a box. But I had bought separately from, I think, Beers of Europe or somewhere else. I bought a few Mad Squirrels, and yeah, they were hit and miss. I had their sour one, and it was god awful. I had it when I was talking to him, and he hadn't yet received his box. And I was like, oh, I was thinking, shit, this is in his box. I regret buying that bit for him. They are good though, in some respects. I went to the Reading Beer Festival, and they were there, and they had a hop beer, but I can't remember what it was called. And I don't know if that was a permanent one of theirs, but it was really good, really good. And they actually had some bottles there because I was working at a festival. I managed to grab some. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. The range is not, as said, my mate. I've only had, I think, in total about. You can fact check me on this actually, Trinosaurus. You can look at me and confirm what I've had. How many have I had? Sorry, I'm going to load up my browser. I'm going to go to Untapped. Could have done it on my phone. Why am I going on my browser? Beer history. Let's see. If I search for Mad Squirrel, not Quirrell, how many have I had? I have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I've only had 5 of theirs. And Hopfest, that's the one I had of theirs. I got a bottle from the Reading Beer Festival of theirs for that. Um, I, you know, I've not given it massive rating, but I thought it was quite a good English style pale ale. I had their small batch Southern Hemisphere IPA, and I gave that a 3.75. I had their Nectar, which was a sour, and I gave that like a 2. That was terrible sour. Sumo, I've got to explain my ratings perhaps on Untapped. That's a separate matter. 2.75 for Cinema, Mr. Squirrel are free. So anything that's 2.5 for me is average. 2.75, yeah. Free is a good beer that I could go back to and drink. Doesn't mean amazing. It means it's a drinkable beer. 2.5 means it's nothing bad with it, but not really going to go back for it. 3.5, if I seen it and there's nothing better, I would go for it. So 3.5 is something I would jump for in a sense. I'd be like, oh yeah, I enjoy that. 4, top class at that stage. But a lot of the 4s are higher ABV. 4.5 is as high as I'll ever rank because there's got to be something that I consider a 4.75, and a 5 is a beer that I would not touch any other beer and I would drink 5 for the rest of my life, and there's no such thing as that. So I'm not going to give a 5 ever. Yeah, so, but that's James about. So James just commented, I'm annoyed my StreamYard's not working properly. I can't get it set up to show the comments. I've got the thing on the side, but it just isn't working. It says show time and it's not showing the comments. So James just said it's downhill slope though. Start with a pinter, now looking at extra fermenting bins to feed my habit. It is the case. It's the case. You get into it and you're like, gotta have a brew on the go because this brew's coming to end. I bought the extra co-pinter. I mean, I had the pinter. I bought the co-pinter. Before they brought out the co-pinter, I was like, do I buy another pinter? But the co-pinter made sense. But I've seen people brewing with just the pinter on its own without the brewing dog. So I'm like, oh, that's possible. But yeah, fermentation bins, once you start buying those, you're like, yeah, that's it. Brilliant. You will have enough to go. But that's why I'm hoping, and I've still got it on the side, to do my all grains because I can brew the smaller batches that can go into the pinter when reach periods of such as now. I'm sitting here with 1 pinter filled with some homebrew and 1 pinter sitting on the floor empty because there's nothing to go in it. I don't want to put that in it because I don't know when my next pinter fresh press is coming. I'm hoping it's coming soon. So with the Nouveau lager, yeah, West Coast lager, I'm looking to actually add jaggery to it, which is obviously it's a sugar, but it's supposed to add like a nice sort of balance to it. Not just the ABV upkick. Then I said the IPA, I'm looking at dry hopping it. With regards to Chris, it is recommended. I think even now the Pinter do sort of recommend it. But I'm going to be honest, I have never on any of my home brews rehydrated the yeast. I've not bothered. I'm lazy, maybe. Yeah, it's not hard to do. It really isn't hard to do, and it's more than likely you'll get a good actuation rate from that yeast, and you would get to that better ABV. But with the pinter, I've sort of found they've chosen a particular yeast, and as long as you don't pour in freezing cold water, especially during winter from the tap, if you're going to pour water in, you perhaps have to leave it to the side for a bit. That's why I've got myself, it's only a 4 litre jug, and it means I need to pour in fill up a half pint, because I tend to find I'm only putting about 4.5 pints into the pinter, and then the rest is the malt extract, which brings it nearly up to the mark. And then you can fill it with a bit of tap water to bring it up there. But if you leave them out to come to a bit of room temperature, or at least above, the 2 to 5 degrees that it may come out of the tap at this time of the year, during summer you've got the opposite issue. I mean, well, actually, for the pinter it worked perfectly. You'll get your water out of the tap, and you only need to leave it a few minutes before you can put it in. But I think tap water, the water temperature, is probably for me more important than rehydrating yeasts. But a lot of homebrewers will recommend rehydrating. A lot of them will reuse the yeast. The whole idea of I've used the yeast for bread, a lot of them will capture that trub, they will put it in the fridge, and then they will reactivate that yeast 2 to 3 days later. You don't want to go more than 3 days, because you're not dry freezing them. You are just chilling them, putting into hibernation. But yeah, a lot of people do rehydrate yeast, and perhaps I will do that on the next. Do you know what? I will do that on the next one. I will actually rehydrate the yeast beforehand before I add it in to the nouveau. I'll do that along with the jaggery that I'm adding. There you go. But first time I'm doing it, but I'm not expecting, too much of a upkick in ABV based on the fact that I've measured starting and final gravity on the pint ones before, and it's not been massive differences. I mean, they're hitting near the mark that I would expect. So if I rehydrate it, will I get a 0.1, 0.2% extra? I don't know. Let's see. By the way, I have taken my time to drink this one, but that is lovely. That is beautiful at that stage. Yeah. And I will agree with this. So Bubbles has just said, because I can't pop it up, unfortunately, about he's been bottling the Pinter. It's improved both the IPA and the APA, but the coffee flavour and the dark malice stout became a bit overpowering after a few weeks of the bottle. And yeah, that would make sense, because when you're bottling, it seems to be, it brings out the flavours a bit more rather than when it is in that Pinter. So the IPA, the APA, and this session IPA are delicate but lovely. The flavour was almost non-present when in the Pinter. Out of the Pinter, the flavour's present. With the stout, I can definitely see that becoming too coffee-based. But you could overcome it beforehand by adding, I don't know, vanilla extract, some chocolate, tinkering with it a bit if you wanted to. But I don't know how that would come out in the bottle. That's the concern. Interesting to see. Right, I'm about to break the seal. It's 2 hours in, and I have the Citra IPA, which I'm going to go toilet, grab the Citra IPA from the fridge, and crack it open for the first time. I'm hoping it's been 9 days. It's been in the fridge for 2 days, 3 days, 3 days. I'm hoping that it's cleared and carbonated, but we'll find out. And just to answer Chris before I go, after you pour a pint, they recommend you turn it back. But if you're using smaller glasses, there's not much harm in not turning it back if you're going to go straight back in. But the idea is that if it's prolonged periods, you should really turn it back to prevent air flowing in, because it's a valve that will let the air go in and out. So the pressure will go out, the air will come in. So ideally you should turn that off. But I am going to come back, and yes, do you know what? It's cue dramatic music, Tyrannosaurus, but it's cue it slightly differently. It may fade in something else if I take too long. There you go. See, I told you, dramatic music may not remain at a big leak. And go pick up my. Well, I'm going to wipe off the. That's the problem with this. It's a chalk label. It's my Citra. I've just written Citra only on it because I was lazy. But after a chat with my friends, it was going to be called Sit Your Ass Down. Now, R spelt the correct way, not the American way. ARSE. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. Sit Your Ass Down. And we're going to see how this comes out. Right, I'm gonna finish the session. Session finished, and my area for storing all this beer glass is running out, especially as I pulled out two dirtyish ones. I don't know if you can even see. You see the stain that's on that? Yeah, sort of comes up in the light. Don't use washing liquid for beer glasses. No, don't use fairy liquid or anything. No, that's not what you should do. That sort of creates a film on the beer and ruins it slightly. You're only here for the Citra. Oh dear, I'm going to keep you hanging on now. I'm going to drink the Belgian blonde now. Let's just kick back and talk about this Belgian blonde. How's that sound? And I drink slowly because it's 7%. Nope. Right, into the Citra we go. Here's the Citra. I know that was getting clear before. Now, I'm going to take this headphone off slightly so I can hear a bit better. And I'm looking so red. I don't think it's coming through as much on the camera. Oh, I hope it's not. Here we go. Let's see. Has this, after a week, carbonated? Oh, that was like a squeaky bottom. This is not fully carbonated. I think this needs longer. But, oh, wow. All right, let's go. This is like a still cider. It's not ready yet. That is not ready yet. There we go. Craft beer pour. That is not ready. It needs longer, but it's an alcoholic beverage. Does it matter? I think I will be drinking this. I'll do a live broadcast probably next weekend. I'll either be drinking this next weekend or even Paddy's Day at this stage. Right. Oh wow! The Citra was massive before. It's died down a little in the bottle. It's a bit more rounded and mellow. Oh, it's carbonated. Oh wow! Yeah, that was a very light carbonation, but that's carbonated. Oh wow! I'm feeling the carbonation go around my mouth. Why don't I didn't get a massive head on the pour. Maybe I need to pour a bit more aggressively, but that is carbonated. Oh, do you know what? Blimey, I'm loving this. This, although it's hazy, you cannot see through it. I said the glass bottle's not clear yet, so I'm not expecting. I know I did shake that one up, but that's not clear. You can't see my finger through it at all. I can't see my finger. And there's not much head retention or development at all on it. But that is, I can see the carbonation swirling around inside. The problem is you're not going to be able to see it, and I'm going to try and find a way to try and show it. No, you're just going to see haze. No. Hazy is all you see. It's hazy, but it's carbonated without a massive head. That is delicious. Sorry, that is delicious. It depends if you're into your hops or not. I love Citra hop. Who doesn't love Citra hop? Citra's an amazing hop. Simcoe, on the other hand, not quite a fan of that. Do you know what this is reminding me of a bit? It's a bit like the green hop beers that you get. It's still quite early in its phase. I know it's not quite the same because the green hop is the whole idea. It's a fresh hop and it's not been dried and matured fully. But yeah, it's a young beer. It's a young beer. Oh wow, that's going down too easy. I can't remember what I said the ABV of this was. 1050 start, wasn't it? And 1011 end. I'm already filling my glass up. Right. Where do we go when we want to work out the ABV? We go to Brewer's Friend. Brewer's Friend. ABV calculator. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong one. And let's just double check. 1050. Oh, 1010. That's the 5.25. So that's 5.25%. Hazy. With the light, I get a shadow. But so this would have been 6 days conditioning, 3 days in the fridge, which I say is too early. When you bottle a beer, you're looking at honestly 3 to 4 weeks. But I think for a week aged beer, 1 week, that's a good sign. That is tasting good. You love Simcoe? Oh dear. Do you know what? Do you know what led me to realise that I didn't love Simcoe? The reason why I wasn't a massive fan of Simcoe was I got to blame 2 breweries really, but I only blame one. Siren. Siren suspended in Simcoe. Hated it. Hated it, hated it, hated it. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading what Chris wrote. Yeah, Chris, I follow that. So on the Pinter website, recommendation, and on the Facebook group, I do recommend there's 2 Facebook groups, Knights of Pinter and the Pinter, I think. I can't remember what the other one's called. They both have recommendations, and honestly, like the idea is that you have to release the pressure slowly. Ignore the videos, even my first video where I showed it. You do not release it in 5 seconds because that's not slow. Ideally, you release the pressure. It varies. You just slowly turn it, and you hear gas coming out. You stop. Wait for that gas stop. Turn it a bit. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Once that's all done, it's fine, but it will take its time. But you should do all of that the night before you're going to tap it. And obviously, the night before would mean you're not going to start drinking at 12 the next day. You're starting after, in the evening, 5, 6 o'clock. And for Steve, welcome back, Steve. I'm going to see you on the live reviews later tonight. I'm just going to, you can apologise on everyone else's behalf if I get a bit pissed and start saying things I shouldn't. That is the Pinter that I was on about earlier that you may have missed. So it's a self-containing insulated vessel. So it's like a thermos flask, and inside you would put your beer, and that little black 2 dots you can see at the back, one of those is the pressure release valve. So when it's brewing and the pressure builds up, the screw there, which I'm pulling but you can't see, will pop out based on the pressure on the inside, and it will release the gas so this doesn't explode like a bottle would. And that is the Pinter. The Pinter, you're supposed to obviously buy packs from the fresh presses from the Great Good, and they sell them from £10 from the cider ones, which I actually haven't tried the ordinary cider. I only tried the dark fruits one, so I do need to try the other one. But yeah, £10 for the ciders, up to £15 at the moment, but they will be doing higher ABV ones. So the highest they get at the moment is 4.5. Correct me if I'm wrong on the chat there. And they're looking to push it up. But I'm wondering, 300 ml extra on a 5 litre brew. correct me if I'm wrong, but Tyrannosaurus, or actually Adam would answer this if he was here. 300 ml extra has only pushed us over a 5 to 5.5. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so sorry, just to confirm that, yeah, you ferment in it and then you leave it to condition, so you don't pour it into a bottle or anything at all, and then you pour directly from there. So that's the one thing I forgot to mention. It's an all-in-one, and you would attach the tap and pour. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing that. I can jump to the back here and I can get my Pinter tap out. Here we go. And you would attach your tap to your Pinter, ignoring that I haven't closed this properly. And why can't I do this upside down? Am I going crazy? Oh my god. There we go. You would attach it, and then you could, gotta hold this, you would pour your beer. So you are dealing with one vessel for your brewing, conditioning, and pouring from, which is a really great idea. And that's why I support the greater good, and I will still be buying their fresh presses. You know, they're a venture that's there to make money. Obviously, they are, I would say, on the pricey end with their £10 to £15 for what they're providing of 5 litres, but great service and new product to market, and I really do like it. But I will be trying other stuff in the Pinter, i.e. my own homebrew, but I will still be doing and buying their Pinter fresh presses. Like, without a doubt, I will be buying the Dark Matter Stout. I was tempted for Paddy's Day, but they were out of stock, and then the delays, so I sort of, I'll leave it. But I will be picking that up definitely come the autumn time, and I may even try oak chip aging some of them, but I don't think the Pinter deals very good with bits. And the reason why I say bits is you would be putting bits of oak in there, and the problem is because you have it that way, it all falls down, and it would fall into the area. I don't know if you notice sometimes, like if you shake, you sometimes get a bit of liquid caught in between the areas. It sometimes drops in between, but you wouldn't want the chips suddenly settling and blocking your valve that would not allow the pressure to come out, and you would just feel this expand to a level that you couldn't even handle. So you've got to be careful with that. Yeah, so Steve, yeah, pressure barrel. It's like a pressure barrel, but it's all in one. If your pressure barrel has a tap on it as well at that stage, they have a dot that you pull off that takes all most of the yeast out. So it's like a pressure barrel. It's more like a proper full grain master element, where you then also have a yeast catcher that you can take the yeast off. With Chris, the lever. I've seen, yeah, so some people have obviously made that on the, I was seeing it in the Facebook group, and there's a guy I follow on YouTube that does that, and you can buy them on the Facebook group. People are selling them, and they make it on their, you know, printers at home. You know, the lever, it seems handy, but the problem for me is that I put the Pinter sideways into my fridge, because if I put it this way, long ways into the fridge, long ways, there we go, it it doesn't fully fit properly, because, and it's only because it's this bit, it unfortunately hits the edge part of my shelving of the door of the fridge. So that is fine, that is just the bit that's too far. So I end up putting mine sideways. So there's no point for a lever for me, because I can reach in and turn it. Which actually reminds me, I need to undo the screw on this one, because I feel the screw on my red one is too tight. And this is, oh my God. Ready? Right. This is my Pinter. And oh, it's not even loose to turn at this stage. And I think I need to unscrew that. I think it's too tight. The pressure would build up too much in the pinter. So I need to untighten that a bit. They've gone a notch too far compared to my yellow, which I think is being better. I'm trying to catch up. Sorry, I should have had these popping up, and I also forgot to turn around and say I'm drinking Citra down. Whee! And that's my rough 5.1% measurement that I've worked out that it should be. All right, Tyrannosaurus ice and sugar. All the best, mate. Yeah. Oh, you left the tin. Wow. Okay, so Tyrannosaurus has left the tin in the fermentation vessel. He's used ice and sugar. Um, Ice and sugar. I watched a video like how you make ice and sugar. Yeah, don't use ice and sugar because it's not just pure sugar. Is it not blended with? Am I going crazy? It's mixed with something. I can't remember ice and sugar. I thought it was some sort of flour mix or something that's going with it. Um, and then the last time the yeast didn't work, which is why I have my little brewing box in there. So I've got my cupboard. That's my clothing in there as well. But in that cupboard, on the bottom, I've got my brewing box. And in my brewing box, I have extra yeast, dried yeast, which I've got to check the dates. I think the currently good till Jan 22, the earliest one there. We've got a few different varieties. I've bought them extra just in case, because if there's no fermentation happened, i.e., if I took the brewing dock off and there was no pop and I could see nothing had happened, I could easily open it up because it's been sealed and chuck in some yeast and start that fermentation. So I always do recommend having some yeast on the side just in case, which again just brings me on to the point of the Greater Good saying they're very eco-friendly, but they put the yeast in a plastic bottle when it could be in a sachet that's recyclable. Anyway, same with the cleansing solution. Or they could just say, buy a cleansing solution. We don't need to send you one, but that's a separate matter. Yeah, so Steve, it's all in one. Yeah, you don't need to transfer it. It's just all fermented in one and kept in the one thing. Been holding off on the pinter because I usually go for high ABV beer, plus I usually want to see if it could be dry hopped. I'm going to try, as I said earlier, I'm going to try the dry hopping on the pinter. Let's see how that comes out. No guarantee that it will come out well. I realise I'm not drinking, I'm just talking. I think it's because I've had so much already. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try dry hopping, but it's not as straightforward, I think, with the pinter as people just doing a hop tea and chucking it in. I do not think it's that way at all. But the pinter, I do feel, if I do the brew in a bag and I do the grains in the pot that I've got, and I've measured the pot, so my pot's just, I'm using like I think it's a red pot of some sort that my missus has, and I measured it the other day, not the other day, a month ago, I should say, when I ordered this, and it's, I think it can handle 8 litres, which is perfectly fine for doing this, because although I'm only brewing 4.5, you need to have more than that space to do it. So I'm hoping that goes well. Just had water stuck in my pinter when doing Sun's Ripe. Yeah, so if you shake your pinter, you're going to hear the thing. Sometimes after you clean it, you can sometimes hear water stuck in there. And I've sort of read people just saying, if you just push the edges slightly and turn it, you might get the water drip out. It's a thermos flask. You've just got a bit of water inside in between. It's not actually in the pinter, it's in between the two sides of it. I do recommend longer brews, although my lager, the taste test didn't come out that way. But again, as I said earlier, when you have a beer is key as well. It's winter. Well, it was winter. It's February. It was snowing. Sun's setting outside right now, and I've turned the heating off. I might need to turn it back on again in this room because I was getting a bit flustered and hot with my 7% beer, it's all about when you have it that makes the beer. So it's interesting to make that lager again for me in the summer period and see how it comes out. Like hosting a barbecue with some friends, and well, I'm hoping we get to that level. I think barbecues with friends, even though a bit distance, might be a case, but let's leave that as it is. Bubbles, W Bubbles. He's got one of the levers. He loves it, but his fits in the fridge the other way. That's great. My fridge is crap. There we go. Thanks for putting me down. No, joking. Yeah, so if you got it sideways, the lever doesn't work. If you have it facing long ways in your fridge, it will work. What can I say? I can't afford a proper fridge. There we go. No, I'm teasing. All good. JCP, yeah, unfortunately, delays on the Pinter at the moment. So I don't know when you placed yours, but they have announced and they put it on the YouTube channel. He posted a video, the guy behind the Pinter, about current issues. And the issues were due to not like COVID related for them, but their suppliers. So I'm assuming that was related to the people that either I don't know where their plastic bottles are made. This is why the eco element makes no sense at all. Where do they make their bottles that they put the malt extract in? Where are the actual pinters themselves casted? I know they're built in the UK, but these from China. Was it down to the fact that they get it all from China, maybe? And they're waiting for a shipment and all the ports are busy? Who knows? But you might have to wait a while, unfortunately, for your Pinter. I can't remember the day they announced it. I think it was maybe the 18th of Feb. They announced their new beer, the Nouveau Lager thingy. And I have a monthly subscription for 6 months, means I pay £12 per fresh press, whereas the press may cost £15. I could buy it for 12. If I was buying cider, I wouldn't join that group because the cider is cheaper than to join the group. And just Tyrannosaurus, they do make them in Wuhan, so that's perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So with the fresh presses, I placed mine when they made it available on the website, although they said they would ship it at the end of the month. The end of the month obviously was like 26th, 27th, 28th of Feb. And then I got a notice saying they're dispatching it, and then they said there's a delay. And then they posted a video on, I think it's Thursday, on their YouTube. So if you look Great Good on YouTube, you'll find it. And they've sort of, the guy gave an explanation as to why. Just in case no one knows, by the way, the guy that started the Great Good, he was on Dragon's Den, and he created Victor Brewing, which is, funnily enough, one of my earlier brew in a bag kits that I tried. So it had malt extract in a bag where you add your water to a level and do it. And again, I couldn't even do things simply at that stage. What I done was I went to the Brewdog brew shop that they had in Gray's Inn Road, King's Cross area. Bought some malts, roasted the malts, crushed the malts, and added the malts into my beer. I can't even do anything simple by the book, can I? I've always got to fiddle with it, haven't I? So, how many I've had so far, Steve? I am on. See, this is difficult to calculate because different ABVs, and also I didn't finish some of these bottles. I'm probably going to pour this, and actually, I'm not down the sink. Probably have this right now in a moment. I might finish up the chat with it because this is the last beer I've got to try. So, I have 7 homebrews that I've tried. I know it says 6 on the screen, but I had 1A and 1B. So there we go. So I've had half of that, 330ml, 330ml, 500ml, 330ml. God knows with the ABV as well. Who knows? When it comes to using the Pinter, do not use fresh cold water from the tap. It's not recommended by me. I would not say that's a good choice. For my 2 lagers, I got the 5 litres from Tesco's, just because lager is suited for a more soft water, not Burton upon Trent, not the stouts where it's London heavy water. But yeah, for the lagers, I used bottled water and I get the room temperature. If I am pouring from the tap, although the cut may seem, this is the world of editing, and really I should make it clear. You should pour the water from the tap, and you should make sure that it's not below 15. The reason I say not below 15 is because most of the yeast really needs to be 18 before the yeast becomes active. But when you pour that water in, you shake it up and leave it to ferment. To begin with, the yeast is being rehydrated in that solution, which is why I don't rehydrate the yeast first, because they're rehydrating in what I've put in. The water will then warm up anyways because you've put it at room temperature. You've got your pinter stored somewhere at room temperature, and that will then increase anyways to room temperature. So you're looking about 20 degrees at that stage. Outside forces will increase the inside temperature anyways, and that water will warm up just as you left it outside. It will warm up inside, and then the yeast will activate. If you put the water in at that 18, 20 degrees anyways, then the yeast will just activate earlier. Obviously, if you rehydrate the yeast and the water is at 20 degrees to begin with, and you've got rehydrated yeast that you pour in, then you've got shorter brewing time. The brewing time difference is about 12 hours. For me, those 12 hours don't make much of a difference because I will do the brew in the afternoon time stage. The yeast will be active by just after midnight, and the yeast creates heat, which is important. The yeast creates heat through their activity that they do, and the idea is the pinter gives off heat. I mean, the pinter is insulated. A normal bucket would give off the heat. Sorry, pinter is insulated. At night, that means the heat can radiate from here because obviously it's night, it's cooler. And I believe that keeps the pinter for the first 36 hours at an optimal temperature, only because, let's say, the yeast will start just after midnight. It's the colder temperature, and the yeast will generate that heat that leads all the way through that first 36-hour period. And then the next part, when yeast has started to die down in its activity, you have your room temperature, i.e. I'm saying we're on, for me, the beginning of day 3 with the early morning, my heating on in the house and all the rest. So it's being brought back up again. So I'm keeping it active and going. Steve, yeah, you're Portsmouth area, aren't you, or Southampton? I think it's. Don't shoot me. I know they're not the same. They're not equal, are they? Yeah, Portsmouth I've been to many times. I think maybe Southampton. Yeah, London water is the water made for stouts and all the rest. It's not made for. Yeah, it's not made for lagers and lighter drinks. I have been looking at doing turbo cider. I've never actually made a turbo cider myself. I say never made myself. I've done with my friend. I've never done one by myself as a turbo cider. It's like it's interesting. It's like I may try. I do like ciders. People may think I don't like ciders. No, I do like ciders. I'm very much into ciders. And actually, my lineup videos where I do 10 different drinks and then rank which I think is the best. I have coming up. I haven't filmed it yet or even bought the stuff, but May, according to the camera, is cider month, and I will be doing ciders. And the ciders I will be doing will be, I'm not going to give the names because I haven't even decided or grabbed what I need. It will just be apple mainstream ciders that you could find at supermarket/pub, which I've tried to do with most of them. You could get the beers that I've looked at either at a pub or a supermarket, and I'm looking for high ABV. I'm looking at that 4 to 4.5% mainstream, so your Magnas and all the rest. I have like other ones planned for the rest of the year, but yeah. Yeah, East Sussex, Brighton, cool. Didn't realise. I just sort of, in my head, through chats and all the rest, I just assumed something. But yeah, Brighton area, East Sussex. Yep, know the area. Cool. Um, well, 5 litre bottle. That's the funny thing. Like, I say, this replicates a 5 litre water bottle. This is 5 litre. The only difference is, rather than being a plastic bottle that you would get from, say, Tesco's, the 5 litre water bottle, or Morrison's, as I know you picked up your beer haul the other day from, you could put your 5 litres in here and it's insulated. But yeah, for cider, I could do that. And I've got a few of the valves. I can't remember. My brain's shot to pieces, or I'm just pissed at this stage. Yeah, I've got the airlocks. There we go, the airlock in my head. I've got a few of those spare that I could fit into a cap to put onto a bottle. But if I was going to do my own home cider, I think I would probably try in the Pinter. And again, that's something maybe for May. Yeah. Don't want to give away videos that I haven't even decided what I'm doing yet, but there we go. I might try a May video for cider in the Pinter. I'll credit to you, Steve, for that idea. Just as you tell me, it comes to my head. Right, I've actually rambled on for over half an hour longer than I was expecting. And I'm looking now, it's 5:30. Bloody hell. Gone on for 2.5 hours. That was longer than I definitely expected, but which is why I went for a live one rather than an actual me having to edit and worry about it all. I'm just a bit concerned about battery life in these, considering they are many years old, 5 years old, and how quickly they drain. Right, what I am going to do, as I promised, I'm going to quickly finish the 7%. I say quickly and then realise it's not as quick to finish as I expected. Oh dear. That's a difficult one to get down. Right, it's time to pour the rest of the... Funny, I never actually showed this. This one's called Hey Blondie, because I said my missus, I get her to write the names of the beers on. She called that one Hey Blondie. And that one, same beer, wrong way. Blondies have more fun. There we go. So there's no actual names for my beers at all. It's just whatever she feels like writing. I'll give her an idea of what it is. Right, this was the tragic one, as you said, where the yeast was huge clumps and floating. I'm going to try and pour slowly, and I hope, this is not looking good already, but I hope by pouring slower, the yeast won't be kicked up by the... Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Nope. Oh dear. That is even murkier. I'm glad I left that. That's the end of it. Smells nice. But I don't want to be on the toilet the whole night, so I'm not going to bother doing that. Yeah, Tyrannosaurus, as you can see, that's my second time trying to make bread, and funnily enough, I tried to make that silent the whole way, and then I chucked a bit of music on the end of it. But originally, the idea was I was going to chuck up a silent one so you could hear the whole all of it all the way through. The missus said, actually, I think you need to put music over that. So I put a sort of backdrop music. But yeah, I'm not great at kneading. I'm going to admit that straight away. I'm not an expert in anything at all. Well, work related maybe, but not this work related. That was my second time kneading bread, which I think I'd done better than the first time. But yeah, I know my technique's crap. The whole idea is you're supposed to be going one way and the other, and I'm just pushing one way and not the other. Oh, I need to watch more Paul Hollywood, don't I? Oh, if you've got some recommendations, I could watch a bit more Barry Lewis and see if learn something from him rather than making a giant Coca-Cola bowl at this stage. Right, this was the end of my beloved Citra down, which I think is an amazing name. And I think I'm going to have to chuck this under my homebrew element on Untapped. Yeah, carbonation's died down now. That is light as. Yeah, there's not much carbonation there anymore. It's faded away. Yeah, some of us don't have a bread maker, Tyrannosaurus. What can I say? Don't have a bread maker. Ah, you lucky fella. Yeah, so the bread, when it comes to beer bread, it's just the whole idea that the beer is replacing the water liquid that you would normally add in. In the batch that I've made with, well, I made the Citra IPA and that was okay, but the batch I've got downstairs right now, the missus made, and that was, I wrote in the comments, it was Citra, the Citra IPA beer yeast with treacle in there as well. And the best part about that was that the treacle actually, obviously, when kneaded incorrectly, went all round, and it was, well, because it worked all its way round, it meant it was also sugars on the outside of the bread. So when it was in the actual oven, not only cooked the outside of the bread, but the sugars sort of crystallize. So when you eat the crust, oh, you got a lovely sugar element to it. You've got that, oh yeah, just cooked sugar element. It's like a creme brulee on the edge. Oh, it's beautiful. Love it. Although doubt it's very healthy. Although we went wholemeal, I doubt it's very healthy. But then again, the salt level is much lower than you would ever expect from a bread that you bought from a supermarket, and it's fresh and keeps nice and soft for longer, I would say. You just got to let it cool for a few hours and then cover it. It's perfect. Right, I'm now looking at the time, and it's 5:45, and I really, really should be letting. There's loads of other live brewers. I went early doors because I know there's so many other live streams tonight. I don't want to overlap with them. This is my first live stream. I'm very thankful for everyone that turned up and tuned in and commented, and anyone that's obviously subscribed anyways. Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting anything like this. It's been a busy year all round, and I originally aimed to start a channel back in 2019, and life and as it is, and even during lockdown I didn't get a chance just due to my job and the amount of work that I had to do. So I only got to start making videos in end of September time, and I would say thanks to Pinter, really. That's what created my focus, and I wanted to focus more on the homebrew, which was part of the whole idea of travel and brews, but I never got around to really creating anything. I've got many travel videos that I really need to edit and upload, but they've not had the views that Brew do. But I will be putting up videos hopefully over the next few months from my hotel visits in Vegas and LA from 2019, just because hopefully we're all soon able to travel again. There's no point putting a travel video up if people are going to stick at home. A bit depressing, really, isn't it? But I'd like to say thanks to everyone out there, and I think I might as well round it off till an even hour. Bloody hell! Like, I closed the lid for a bit. Recarbonates. Brilliant. I don't even know what glass. I use the really horrible glass for that. I'm gonna pour some stuff in, and I'm gonna have a drink to see myself out. There's no point leaving an empty glass at all, is there? You got to always leave with something in your hand. It's the one thing I'm obviously got to apologise for when I'm homebrewing. I don't have a beer in my hand. Most people, you homebrew, you have a beer in your hand. I'm too busy trying to film and sort stuff out that I've not got homebrew in my hand. I should really, or cinemas would call me if I'm drinking all the time. But yeah, it was nice to talk to you guys and just have a general chat. And unfortunately, I've gone from like 3% all the way up to 7.5, shot back down again to uncarbonated. Now I'm back at my 3% beer. And do you know what? It's refreshing to land back at. Right. Thank you, everyone. And I will see what I can do with editing this for actually putting a live stream out on the channel. I think it's possible to edit on YouTube. Not done that before, but let's see how it comes out. But wish you all a happy weekend. And I'll probably see you same time again next weekend. And I might well have the Citra IPA at the Pinter. And if that fails, it's Paddy's weekend. And what I'll probably do is, because it's the weekend, get some of the Nigerian and Dublin export Guinness and have that along with, funnily enough, I have quite a nice strong porter over there as well. Oh God, what have I set myself up for? I was just thinking off the fly here. Because it's Paddy's weekend, I might do a few 7% beers and another 10% beer. Bloody hell, what am I doing? Right, take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. And unfortunately, I don't have any dramatic music to lead you out. I could do a countdown again if you really want. I know you all love the countdown. Yeah. All right. Take care, guys.